Hi, I'm excited to see you. I'm going to hit start on my timer, so I try to be good about my um, commitment to time today. But welcome. My name is Alyssa, if we haven't met. I am filming from the San Juan Islands. I'm on Lopez Island. I'm farming with a friend of mine, a fellow very talented yogi, farmer, ecologically sound human being out here, my friend Derek Ezel. He's going to tell me the right way to say it eventually. Um, anyways, I'm out here and I'm offering some recorded classes, and the intention of these recorded classes and offerings are really just so that you have tools to cultivate a home practice. As things change and shift in the world, I encourage you always to be kind to yourself and kind with your communities, consider your choices, etc., and so on. And if you're seeking streaming classes or one-on-one work, reach out to me and I can direct you to people. And some of those things I can offer depending on your circumstance and what you need. So always feel free to reach out. Mostly the offering is freely given. It's there for you. Otherwise, the context is always that we're just trying to find ways to gather and connect with one another. So this is about an hour-long Vinyasa practice. And the intention, or I guess yoga teachers call them themes, what I'm really trying to get at, or what I've been thinking about or experiencing a lot of, is gentleness, and gentleness as a practice of courage. And I think that often when we hear words like courage or bravery, they aren't laid down in sort of the same context as that which is gentle or more soft. And I just want to offer that I think really to be gentle when things feel like they need to be reactionary, to be gentle when things are difficult, to be gentle when things are fucked up, when they're imperfect, when they don't make sense, when they're not how we thought they would be. That's much harder than it is to be gentle when things are all going well, right? And gentleness is really a tool and it has efficacy. I think a lot about the work I do here, digging up weeds, etc. How gently can I do it so as to remove it without disturbing the rest of the earth, etc. How much gentleness is required when moving the earth aside to plant a new seedling. And that the same process, I think, is really true in the nature of ourselves, how much gentleness is required. And sometimes it surprises me how much gentleness I require, really, how much forgiveness I need to give myself, how much space there needs to be, and how much value and worth really comes to question for us when we think we've done something wrong, or when we think that we're not sort of performing as we ought to, etc., and so on. So really any time that you're experiencing your own imperfections, it's just an opportunity to practice being gentle with yourself and also with others. When we rub up against other objects, other things, other people, friction is its own sort of vibration. How can that be a gentle vibration, a healing vibration, as opposed to one of destruction, etc., and so on. All right, so to get started, I like to unite with 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om, so you can sit up tall. If Oming or chanting isn't for you, or if you feel like you're in a space where it might not be best, feel free to sit in silence with us instead. So I'm sitting in lotus because it feels good for me today, but for a lot of bodies it doesn't. You might just sit cross-legged. You might sit up with your legs folded underneath you. You can always be in a chair, up on the edge of a couch, etc., so on. And in reality, you're sort of facing into my tent, my living space. It's a pole tent out here. I really love living here. My dogs are in here. My husband may walk by, etc., so on. So just so you know, things are changing and shifting. If any of that goes down, it won't be surprising. We are warned, and so we can keep doing our work in all circumstances. If you're joining for chanting, the sound of the universe, Om, the sound of interconnectivity with all existent and non-existent, manifest and unmanifest things. Close your eyes or gaze down at one spot on the earth in front of you. Let your hands fall to neutral. Or if there's a mudra or gesture of import, feel free to fold them up into it. Take a moment to relax your shoulders and your neck and your jaw, and sort of to figure out how to stack your body in relative neutral over your pelvis. To clear and prepare the energetic channel of your body, take a big deep inhale in through your nose. And open your mouth to exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. Take a long, slow inhale in through your nose when you're finished. And a long, slow exhale out. Let's begin in Balasana and Child's Pose. And come forward to a hands and knees position. You might bring the tops of your feet down. If right away this flexion in your knees is too much, you could put a cushion between your hips and your heels, or choose to sit cross-legged and fold forward over that shape instead. Sit on your heels or lie on your back and choose an alternative action. If you're coming forward and down, you might stack your fists to catch your head or place a stack of books or blocks there. Arms could be out long in front or back by the side hips with the palms facing up. Try to relax your neck and let your head hang. In whatever position you arrive in, start to practice kindness right away. What do you need to allow? And the state of relaxation is one of our epitomal adaptational functions as conscious beings, as bipedal apes. Our ability to be relaxed is our ability to start to move towards enlightenment. We can imagine, we can be clear, we don't waste excess energy through stress or tension. And so if the shape you're in isn't allowing you to do that practice, it's requiring too much of that tension or attention, as it were, that you'd like to give to yourself, to your perception, to your work of magic and focus, then be in a different shape. And that's true for all of our postures. Not that you ever need it, but you always have my permission to do what is best in your own self-healing work and your own self-empowerment work. And keep in mind that this is a structure that asks for that asks us to seek our own self-power, our own self-kindness. And as you begin to pay attention to how things are, notice the experiences, the sensations. You might start with the external, like temperature and texture. What do you see and smell and hear? You might right away notice your impressions of these things in other layers of yourself, where you start to think, I've seen this 1,000 times, or I wish this was different, or isn't that nice, etc., and so on. Though that last one's kind of fine. You can keep all of your positivity if you want. And just starting to notice what you're paying attention to. What do you hear with your ears and smell and taste? What do you notice in your energetic sort of field? Are you feeling any certain emotions or intuitions? Are there any instinctual reactions going on? Do you feel things in your body, compression, extension, tension, softness, activation, ease? Are you feeling your thoughts? Your brain thinks just like your eyes see and your tongue tastes. So as you think your thoughts, remember that you are not your thoughts. The first time somebody said that to me, I thought, well, what the fuck am I? Not my thoughts. I just start to play with it. What would it be like if your thoughts were something coming and going that you were experiencing, that you weren't obligated to identify with, that you weren't necessarily you of your thoughts? You're you, and your thoughts are happening. You begin to notice your breath, organic, rising and falling. We use the breath to tether us to the here and now in this broad universe of sensations of our iteration with nature, with Prakriti. So we'll begin to find Ujjayi pranayama, but it's okay just to breathe in a deep way that makes sense for you. Keep it kind. Remember gentleness as a form of efficacy, action with ease, action with kindness, relaxation, etc. So exhale all the air you have in your lungs and get a little extra empty. Then take a slow inhale in through your nose. Fill your low belly first and then let your rib cage widen. Then you might breathe up into your chest and hold it softly at that mostly full place. Open your mouth to exhale, HA. And softly let it all go at the bottom. Inhaling in through your nose, breathe into your lower back this time, and your back ribs where your kidneys are, all the way up perhaps into your shoulder blades. Just breathing as full as you can without tension and softly holding or retaining there. And then open mouth like a lion, HA. Use the belly drawing in softly to press the air out. And then Ujjayi pranayama, the upward liberating psychic breath. Breathe in through your nose, slowly snoring. Filling up three-dimensionally and holding softly at that mostly full place once more. Then with sealed lips, you'll sigh out through your nose, that same HA feeling, but through your nostrils. Good. And continuing, inhaling in through your nose and exhaling out through your nose at your own pace. Continue the cycle. I think it's one of the hardest sort of skill sets of vinyasa. Can you keep breathing in this way? It's not a first nature. You'll have to think about it. You'll have to breathe on purpose until it becomes something so familiar that you'll notice you're like washing dishes doing ujjayi, or at least I hope. On your next couple of rounds of inhaling and exhaling, start to move your body. You might move intuitively, wiggle your fingers and toes. You might rock your hips from side to side or roll your neck around. It can be really small and subtle. It can be really broad and obvious. Slowly start to come forward and upward towards a hands and knees position. I'll move in and out of demonstrating actions, mostly because just staring at you, knowing that you're functioning in a different time and space seems a little silly to me. And also because maybe it'll be useful to see, especially if my words are not clear at any point in time. So moving towards tabletop slowly. When you get there, you might do some rocking side to side, back and forth. I like to fold my wrists under like this and do some circling around them. Wrists need strengthening, so sometimes they just feel really tensile and fragile. And if that's true, just limit the range of motion you take things to, and you might pull things way back or way forward depending on your own sensational awareness. I mean that both that it's sensational that you're aware and also that you're being aware of sensations. And we'll start to stack and meet slowly over time in a neutral tabletop shape with the shoulders up over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Press into your right hand on the earth and inhale to take your left arm out and then up, reaching upward, gazing upward. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind your right wrist. Come down to shoulder, ear, or jaw. And just about 3 breaths here. You might take your right arm out or up or reach it behind your back. You might roll down and land on your arm more, allowing breath to flow in and out as you decide where to be and how it is there. And then return your right hand to the mat near your nose and inhale your left arm back out and up, reaching upward. And exhale, swim it forward, freestyle towards the earth. Plant your left hand under your left shoulder and inhale your right arm up, reaching upward. Gaze up if your neck allows, and exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind. Come to shoulder, ear, or jaw. And again, it may be as it was before. It may be different. You can always give yourself permission to try a different approach, or to let things feel different from side to side, or to learn in real time from what happened a moment ago. As you're ready, replant your left hand on the mat near your face. Inhale to expand your right arm back out and up, reaching upward. Exhale, swim it forward to plant it on the mat. Inhale, cow pose. Lift your chin and tail, gaze up, flare your front ribs. Exhale, cat pose. Round your spine, tuck your chin, dome in. Inhale, cow. Lift your tail, lift your heart. Exhale, cat. Curl and compress. Push with the pads of your knuckles. Follow your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Do these 2 actions. You might notice you tend to move more with your pelvis, and then maybe you'll ask your rib cage to do more of the action, to spread the butter, as it were, of your actions out. You might find that you need to add experimentation, going side to side. You might find that letting your neck do less and asking the rest of the spine to come to play gives you more room. As you experiment and feel and breathe, there's no such thing as a right or wrong answer, just so long as kindness is your first discernment. It's really the idea of the practice of yoga is action with kindness. Action squared by kindness, as it were, to the power of kindness. And so as you start to experiment with what that is, you may notice that there's lots of different levels of unkindness that we do to ourselves in our learning of tolerance and our adaptational abilities to be with new environments, new situations. Start to return slowly in the next few rounds of breath from your cow-cat or your spinal undulation actions towards neutral tabletop. Curl your toes under, lift your knees on an inhale, just an inch off your mat, right? Not super far. Now, you might notice that tucking the tail makes this a little more manageable. For some folks, it does. You might also find flaring your tail and dropping your shoulders down your back is a nice place to be. Engage your belly muscles a little bit. Notice if you shifted back. I tend to, so shift forward again, shoulders over wrists. Take an inhale. Take an exhale to lower your knees, flatten the tops of your feet. Might be smaller because hands and knees are closer. Inhale like cow pose, lift your chin and tail. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower your heart forward and down. Usually your wrists tell you where to stop. Inhale, press back up. Cow pose, curl your toes under. Exhale, lift your knees an inch off the mat. Inhale, short down dog. Spin your hips high. Keep your knees bent. And exhale, drive your heels towards the earth. So for a lot of us, the knees will stay real bent, heels high, tippy toe style. Inhale, bend your knees and lift your hips high. And exhale, bend your knees and lower them towards the earth all the way down. All right, walk your hands a little forward, your feet a little back if things got close. Inhale, curl your toes under. Bent knee down dog, spin your hips high. And exhale, lower your heels a bit, maybe further towards the earth, depending on your hamstrings today. Inhale to your tippy toes, high heel style. Exhale, bend your knees just a little bit to create slack in your hamstrings. Inhale, tail up, hang your head, press your armpits back. And exhale, lower your heels to straighten your legs as opposed to forcing them back. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, float your knees as you inhale to bring your shoulders towards the space over your wrists, forward. And exhale back to the bent knee, downward facing dog pose. Let's rock like that. Inhale forward, hover your knees, tabletop hover float. Exhale, bent knee down dog, drive it back. Now let's change the breath. Take an inhale in the bent knee down dog. And exhale to come forward to knees hovered, tabletop. Inhale, bent knee down dog. Exhale to pull forward. Inhale, bent knee down dog. Exhale, drive your heels low. Now you might here start to walk your feet back, your hands forward. Experiment with finding a down dog that's sustainable. I like to take a few inhales and exhales with my hips hanging to one side and the other. A little bit of a twist and side body bend. You might lift an arm or a leg. Bending your elbows can be helpful if they point out. Usually we want to turn our fingers more out so they can start to point down. But really how your shoulder blade meets your upper clavicle and humerus bones will say a lot about what you can really do with them in these sorts of ranges of motion. So sometimes widening the hands helps us go around tension or bone joint meeting. Sometimes keeping the knees bent and the tail high helps the lower back adapt to hamstring pressure. Inhale out into a plank, upward push-up position. Right away, exhale your knees to the mat, bend your elbows in and lower all the way down onto the front seam of your body. Bring the tops of your feet down. I like to slide my hands back so my elbows are poking up as much as possible. Inhale, cobra. Peel your heart up. Gaze forward or up. Exhale, slowly lower your upper body down. Let's do that 2 more times. Strong legs, press into the earth. Inhale, cobra. Peel your heart up. Try to keep your feet down. And exhale, bring your upper body down. Follow your breath through 1 more time. Once you're down, climb up into the Sphinx Pose by bringing your elbows underneath your armpits. And you can go more forward, especially if you need to go more down, or you can go out to the side if there's tension in your shoulder where it meets your upper back. It's also chill to turn it out, right, as opposed to fingers pointing straight forward. And do a little tuck of your tail, a little draw of your belly in, a little squeeze of your glutes, just to see if it changes things in your lower back, and if that changes of use, you might manage it throughout time. Roll your shoulders down and take an inhale. And on your exhale, press with your hands and round your upper back. Tuck your chin. Try to look at your own breastbone or navel. Inhale, lift your heart up. Pull it forward and up. And exhale to round. Keep your legs strong. Apply Mula Bandha, lifting the floor of the pelvis and towards the organs. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, round and lead by pressing your upper chest back. Inhale to lift the heart, and as you continue, you might start to bend your knees, if it feels good in your lower back, that is. And exhale to straighten them to go the other way. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your heart up. And exhale. Good, inhale. Sphinx pose, you might bend your knees. And on your exhale, start to lower down. Slide your hands back, lower your feet down. Plant your palms on the mat under your shoulders and curl your toes. Press your knees down, but stick your tail up. Inhale to press up, plank on the knees. Exhale through bent knee, down dog on your way. Tail high, drive your heels low, knees straightening. Now, some of you might not need to straighten or bend your knees rather in down dog, and so it's okay to straighten them. Tightness in the hamstring is not necessarily alleviated by just bending your knees. Over time, the muscle shape might change and adapt. You might find you could straighten your legs, and that practicing straightening and stretching also moves us in that direction. All right, inhale to your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees. This time, inhale to a plank. Push yourself forward. You can always put your knees down once you arrive. Take an exhale where you are, and with slight bend in your knees, inhale, bent knee down dog, and use the exhale to head to regular down dog. All right, inhale to your tippy toes, exhale, bend your knees. Keep extending your spine, push with your hands. Inhale to send your pelvis up and back, and exhale to drive your heels low. Inhale, tippy toes, exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down to cobra, tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift into the snaky posture. Exhale to bring your upper body down and curl your toes from knees or toes. Inhale through plank, lead with your tail, bent knee down dog. Exhale, drive your heels low, classic dog pose. All right, inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, tippy toes, gaze forward, and exhale to the top of your mat, 1 foot at a time. Tiptoe, try to load your hands a little bit, bend your knees when you need to, use your abdominals to help walk your feet in, and then hang. Ragdoll form, Uttanasana. You're welcome to widen your feet. You might grab for opposite elbow or interweave your fingers at the base of your neck. Now let your upper body dangle, let the weight of your head dangle off of your spine. Breathe into the back ribs and side ribs. What are you noticing? Observing? What is your consciousness probing and paying attention to? Next exhale, release your arms out of any chosen grip and inhale to halfway lift. Roll your tail out behind you, your heart out in front of you. And use the exhale to fold forward. Again, inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold down. One more time, inhaling and exhaling. And choose your feet for sun salutations. We're going to take them in stages. Bend your knees and round up slowly, breath by breath, towards standing. Drag your head, drag your fingertips. Let your head be the last thing to lift, unless your wisdom about your body and your spine and your neck tell you otherwise. When you reach the top, take a few rolls of your shoulders down your back. Allow yourself to find a standing position that feels relatively neutral. And close your eyes or gaze down at one spot on the earth in front of you and breathe. And as you breathe and stand, notice that this is really the point in time evolutionarily. You're standing upright, curves in your spine allow you to twist and move, allowing your nervous system to explore the world from a different point of view. And so as you pay attention to this point that you're at, this pinpoint in the cosmos that you are, that your awareness is, how are you directing and collaborating with that experience? What are you noticing? And again, remember that however it is things are, they're enough, right? Even if you are not acting as you would expect or as you would hope, even if things are not perfect. And in fact, if they're far from perfect, the practice asks us only to be kind as we are truthful with ourselves, truthful with the world, truthful with how things are. Allow gentleness to be a path towards action, even when it seems impossible. On your next inhale, flutter your eyes open. On your next exhale, tune into what's around you. And slowly at first, we'll break it down into one action at a time. Inhale your arms out or forward, up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up pose. You're welcome to gaze up and do a little bit of a back bend in your upper back as you draw your navel in. And exhale your arms right back down your sides, standing in Samastitihi, neutral position again. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, arms come down. Your hands don't need to meet. Your hands can come to shoulder distance up there. Let's add on. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold. Let's go right back up. You can bend your knees. Inhale. And exhale, right back to neutral. And inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, back to zero. Let's add on. Inhale to the first position. Exhale, second position, fold forward. All right, inhale, third position, half lift. We've done this already. Exhale, back to the second position, forward fold. To the first position, inhale, arms up. Exhale to zero, samasthiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding, Uttanasana, extending from center. Inhale, arms up, pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, samasthiti, return to neutral. Let's add on. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. So you can step back and lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward dog. You can pull your heart through. You're welcome to put your knees down and then maybe try to lift them. Kick the tops of your feet down actively. Exhale to down dog. Curl your toes when you need to, if you need to, so that your feet can come towards the earth. Tail high, heels low. Take a few breaths. Ujjayi pranayama in and out through your nose. Remember, down dog is about efficiency. Don't do any work you don't need to do. And don't overfutz or perfect the thing. Let sustainability be part of how you move through the thing. And as you feel the pressure of your hands against gravity, use an exhale to step or lightly, gently float forward and arrive on the soles of your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale to lift halfway, flare your spine out. Exhale, forward fold, round in deeply. Inhale to the arms up pose, all the way back to the first position. And exhale to neutral, samasthiti. Let your arms come down by your sides. Very nice. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward dog, or try cobra as a different way of working. Exhale to downward dog, breathe. Find your thumbs and the root of your index knuckles on the ground. If it's all in your wrists or outer pinky side edge of hand, turn your pointer fingers more forward as opposed to your index or middle fingers pointing to the top of your mat. Breathe in the Ujjayi form in and out through your nose. And gently on an exhale, step or float forward, arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise. Exhale, samasthiti. One more like this. Inhale, arms up pose. Exhale, fold by sticking out your tail. Inhale, unroll by sticking out your heart. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, up dog or an alternate. Exhale, downward dog pose. Breathe in and out through your nose. Steady the ground under your thumbs and exhale, gently float forward. Arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose. Exhale, Samasthiti. I'm going to do a bit of lunging practice as balancing work. My head gets kind of cut off, but hopefully the legs will help out and you can hear me. Stand on your right foot, bend your left knee and lift your left thigh bone up parallel. And take it slow and make it flow as we go. Once you feel stable, and I like to think about pressing my right heel down to lift my right hip up. That's what straightens your leg to whatever degree it's going to straighten. And thinking about dropping my left hip down a little so I feel grounded underneath the lifted leg. Inhale to take your arms sideways, out and up. Reach up, maybe gaze up. And on your exhale, bend your standing right knee, bend your elbows, and start to take your left leg behind you. You're going to have to shift your weight back, but you want to extend your leg as far as you can first and land on the ball of your foot so all 10 toes face forward. And you might fall and wobble, get back up. And dig your arms up to shoulder distance or up to palms pressed. Draw your belly in the low portion and inhale, look up, maybe reach up overhead. And exhale your hands to the mat. Step back to plank or float your right foot back and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog or an alternate. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, HA. Inhale, Ujjayi. Out through the nose, Ujjayi. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back, one-footed dog. Exhale, bend your left knee and draw it towards your nose or your chest. Shift your shoulders forward over your wrists like in plank. Inhale, take it up and back, one-footed dog reach. Exhale, low lunge. Step your left foot forward. All 10 toes face forward. Feel free to grab it up or take it wide. Once you're grounded, inhale, rise up. High lunge, crescent lunge, reach up. Take an exhale to land in the shape. Now, coming forward is a lot harder, I think. So bend your back knee and let it lower down. And I usually take a couple of steps. Bend your left knee and inhale, pull your right thigh bone forward and up to hang in front of you. Reach your arms up. And your exhale, just bring your arms down by your sides. And let's pause for a moment to find this action here with the right leg lifted and the left foot down. And draw the navel back. You might again think about plugging the standing heel down, the lifted hip down to find root. Take an inhale and exhale. Let your right foot lower. All right, you're going to stand on your left leg again. We'll do it on the other side slow, working towards flowing it. See if you can lift your right leg and your arms at once. Inhale, arms up. Lift your right leg up. Exhale, bend your elbows, bend your left knee, and slowly start to extend your lifted leg back. You might even tilt your chest forward to counterbalance, and then shift to land. Once you've found gravity, inhale your arms up. Now know that you could do this with your back knee down if you'd like to. Find a different stability, a different stretch. And on your exhale, release your hands to the mat, frame your left foot. Inhale, step back or float your left foot back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose or an alternative, probably both feet down. Exhale, downward dog pose. Breathe in through your nose, Ujjayi. Out through your nose, Ujjayi. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach all the way up. And exhale, Samasthiti. Let your arms come down by your sides. All right, you're getting some of the idea of this flow. It's hard to slow it down, so we're going to speed it up a little bit, but you take the time to make it function for you. So if you need to add a breath and catch up or go faster, do it. I'm going to try the same business with the right foot down. Inhale, bend your left knee, lift your leg up, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your standing knee and step your left foot back. I like to let my arms come down while I'm doing that. Inhale, arms up. You might reach up, gaze up. Exhale, hands down, step or float your foot back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot through, low lunge. Inhale, rise, high lunge, arms come up, reaching upward. Exhale, bend into your back knee, shift your weight forward. Inhale, pull your right thigh bone forward and up. Reach your arms up like Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Put your right foot down. Good. Inhale, lift your right foot up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, slow. Bend your left knee and step your foot way back. Long, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Arms up, reach up, maybe backward bend. Exhale, hands down. Good. Step your left foot or float it back for chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi through the nose. Inhale, lift your right leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale, right knee to nose, chin to chest, shoulders over wrist like plank. Good. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach and expand. Let's make it a bit even. Exhale, low lunge, step your foot forward or grab it to draw it up. Inhale, take your arms up, high lunge, crescent action with the moon. And exhale, bend your elbows, bend your back knee. Inhale, pull forward. Take many steps. It doesn't have to be graceful. Left thigh up, arms up overhead. And exhale, Samasthiti. Put your left foot down. All right, one more time on each side. Stand on your right foot. Inhale, bend your left knee, lift your thigh up, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your right knee and step your left foot back. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge, reaching upward. Exhale, chaturanga, step or float to lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right away, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left foot through. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward, crescent lunge. Exhale, bend your back knee, bend your elbows, shift your torso forward. Inhale, pull your right leg forward, reach your arms upward. Exhale, right foot down, arms down. Good. Inhale, right foot up, left heel down. Exhale, bend your left knee, bend your elbows like wings to step back. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge, heart up. Exhale, hands down, chaturanga, step your left foot back to lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, low lunge, step through. Inhale, pick your torso up, high lunge, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bend your elbows. You can go through that cactus shape as you bend your left knee. Inhale, pull your left leg up. I think that's really hard, so take your time, arms up. And exhale, Samasthiti. Let the arms and legs come down. Nice work. Inhale, arms up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, hands down, step, or maybe lightly float back. Inhale, upward dog pose, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward dog pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee, scorpion dog business, roll your ankle around. You can do this from hands and knees if your shoulders or your wrists are getting tired as well. Work into your hip socket. If there's a wall, you can always use it to prop you up. Good. Inhale, straighten and extend, and exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. You might need to walk it out or shimmy it up. And drop your back knee down to your mat. Untuck your toes. Your back kneecap might feel pressure. Fold your mat over. You can choose to pad your knee as well. Turn your right toes out if you like. You can roll to the blade of your foot, but make sure it's not just like only happening in your ankle. It's something affecting your outer hip. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Twist to the right, gaze up if your neck allows. Exhale, bend your right elbow, hang your head. Try to let yourself back bend while you twist. Inhale, reach your right arm straight up. On the exhale, hang your head if you weren't already, sort of off the hinge of your right arm. Inhale, roll your heart to the right. And exhale, return your right hand to the earth. Curl your left toes under and inhale, lift your left knee up. And on your exhale, step your left foot up outside your left hand. So we'll end up in this Balasana or Mandukasana, this squatting thing. You can always have your heels lifted or take your feet wider. I laugh because, like, of all the silly things that might help us with our health or our well-being, who knew that squatting was it, right? But it's good for us, apparently. And take a little time to notice it's your purgatory. Won't be here for too much longer. Observe who you are and how kind you can be inside of this, maybe even sitting on a block or lifting your heels. If you'd like, you can press your hands together, spread your elbows to the insides of your knees, and puff out your heart. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, fold forward, lift your hips high. Walk your feet underneath your pelvis, hips distance or together. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale for fierce pose, or some people call it chair, Utkatasana. Fold and bend your knees, sink your hips. Use your middle back to inhale and lift your heart up. Arms can come out or forward and up. You might gaze forward or up. And exhale, cactus arm back bend. Pull your shoulder blades down to lift your heart up. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, hands down, step back to plank pose, upward push up and pause. We're going to come down to the forearm plank. You can come to palms or press the palms. Try not to fist out your hands in any way. Draw your belly in. We're just going to be here for about a minute and breathe. Try to relax your shoulders, neck, jaw. Notice how your abdominal muscles are responding. Notice if you're over perfecting the shape. And always do this with knees down or knees hovering. Different spinal approach altogether. You're doing great, and we're already about halfway through our time. Breathe. If you're going to have the ability to survive and endure, what's the point if you cannot still find peace, kindness, gentleness inside of that survival? Where is the space for you to be kind to yourself? Which might mean not doing plank at all. Right? You have all of the space to take agency. Another 15 seconds or so breathing. And slowly, in the next few breaths, lower your pelvis to the earth. Find Sphinx Pose. Then take a little half frog. So take your left hand to where your right elbow is and bend your right knee. Reach around, try to grab for the inside of your foot, so thumb up. If you're grabbing the outside, that's okay, but notice if you're rolling down and where the pressure is, just experiment with it. You can kick into your hand to stretch across your chest. If you feel a lot of pressure in your lower back, push down with this arm and draw your belly in. You're welcome to bend your elbow and spin around. This is the classic Bakasana. It's the same kind of context as Chaturanga with your arm, but if your foot feels way behind you and your shoulder blade says no, you might end up here or with your hand facing back, etc. You're welcome to return your heart forward to give you a little extra space. Kick your left foot down and kick the top of your right knee down as well a little bit if you can. Inhale and exhale. And slowly, let's find the other side. Release your right leg. If you had it, and come back into Sphinx, take your right hand across and bend your left knee. Take your left hand around, thumb up for the inside edge of your foot. You might kick right there. You might pull. Remember, if your quad is tight, if your hamstring is strong, these things might have a different range of motion. The point is not to pretzel yourself up into the shape, but to use the shape as a tool for your own healing. Try to be like bigger and more important to yourself than proving you can do a yoga pose. They're mad cool, but you and your enlightenment are far more interesting. Good. Next exhaler to return towards neutral, return into Sphinx pose. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, curl your toes under. Inhale up into forearm plank, and exhale your right hand down, your left hand down, plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, take your left leg up, and exhale, scorpion it out. Open your hip and bend your knee. You might recall what you did on the opposite side and be doing the same thing. You might also be doing something altogether quite different. Good. Inhale, straighten and extend, reach the leg. And exhale, step your left foot outside your left hand, lizard, lunging, or dragon. Bring your right knee down and untuck your toes. We'll twist it first. So you might plant your right hand up on something even if you like, and even take the twist up higher if it feels better in your back or your body. Otherwise, we're going to turn to the left and inhale the left arm up. You might turn your left toes out to the left. Some of you might have added the bend of your back knee, the quad stretch that you've done in this other Sphinx-related postures for Bakasana or Ardha Bakasana a moment ago. Take another inhale to roll open, and on the exhale, bend your top elbow, left elbow, and see if you can roll back a little like you're backward bending. Experiment with it. Inhale, reach straight up, and on the exhale, let your head hang for a moment if you haven't already. I'm getting that drop of gravity. Inhale, twist through the sternum. Exhale, two hands down. Curl your back toes under and lift your right knee up off the mat. Right, so you have a little bit more leverage and space. Press your hands down. Inhale, step back. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand and squat down. Balasana, Mandukasana. Give yourself a little room. And this is the last time we're going to do this, I promise. So as your hips come low, lift your heart up. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward by lifting your hips up and hanging your head. Walk your feet under your pelvis. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana, bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, arms up, the fierce pose, awkward posture. Exhale, your hands to heart center. Lean forward and twist to the right. Try to bring your left elbow, maybe your armpit outside your knee. For some bodies, you'll put the elbow between the knees or on the other side and press out. And also choose to fly the arms away or work to bind your hands behind your back. Hi, angel dog. As you turn your heart up and open, breathe in and out through your nose. Experiment with bringing your chin more towards your right collarbone gently as you turn your gaze up if you're going that route. Inhale, Utkatasana, back through center. Exhale, forward fold, dive over your legs. Walk your feet to hips distance. Bend your knees for Padangusthasana. Take two peace sign fingers around each big toe. Inhale like a halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, bend your elbows and pull yourself in and down, breath by breath. Good. Inhale, unroll like a halfway lift. And exhale, release the fingers off the toes as you fold. You might walk your feet back in if that's how you place them for Utkatasana. Bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, arms up, fierce pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lean forward, and exhale, twist left. Try to hook your elbow, maybe your armpit. You're just trying to find a range of motion and twisting that is kind. This idea that you have to wring and rot and it's got to be tension filled to twist, not quite true. Remember that the wind twists the trees, a slight rustle in the breeze. Not everything has to be drastic to be effective. Not everything has to be violent to have efficacy. Force itself might be a function of focus as much as it is a function of action. Inhale back through center, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose and pause. Forearm planks for side planks. So coming to your left forearm, you might turn your left fingers to the right and roll to the outside left side of your left foot and roll to the inside of your right foot. I like to stagger my feet, but you might stack, take a different bit of business. If you really want to be on your hand, feel free. Mostly we're working to strengthen the spine. So bring your head in line relatively with your pelvis and breathe. Not as long as the other plank, I promise. Just a few more breaths. Good, let's switch sides. Bring your right arm parallel and turn to the outside edge of your right foot and breathe. Might be the same, it might be different. How is it? And again, how are you using the magic power of your own focus and perception? What are you building? What knots are you tying and untying? What are you practicing? A few more breaths. And returning to your hands, left hand down, right hand down, plank pose, inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down to your front seam. Take your right arm straight out to the right like an airplane wing. Look to the left and use your left hand to help you roll over onto the right side of your body. You might stagger your feet or stack your knees. Try to relax your head. You might land your left hand underneath it. You might choose to put a cushion or a book underneath if you need support. For some of us, the elbow might need to bend, or the arm might need to come more forward, or more back towards the hips. Work not to flip the arm up unless it's purposeful for you. A few more breaths, compression in your shoulder joint. And slowly roll back onto the front seam of your body. You might need to open and close your right hand and move it around a little bit. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Take your left arm out to the left with your palm down. Look to the right and roll to the left. You might use your right hand to catch your body weight. You might not need it and take it around behind to hang. Breathe. Notice what there is to notice. And let that intelligence seek balance, efficiency. What are you holding that you don't need to hold? How can you sort of purify the static of your own energetic experience? Clear out the extra noise. And it's difficult to do that gently. Really difficult skill set, in my opinion, to be gentle doing anything. You need to pay attention, go slow, be kind. Slowly use your right hand to catch you as you release back onto the front seam of your body. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders, curl your toes under, and inhale up through tabletop. Exhale back to downward facing dog pose, tail high, heels low. And take a few rounds of breath in and out through your nose. And exhale to slowly lower your knees to the mat and sit your hips to your heels. So I've been doing a little bit of this mini camel action myself to work into the upper back, the chest. Mostly because while your rib cage doesn't really back bend, that part of your rib cage is not really what's extending so much as your lower back and your neck. Often that's the area where we hold a lot of tension. So that's where we feel all the pressure because there's actually the least range of motion in the heart where we're opening these heart opening postures. And so we're just going to take a little time to open up that space from an intentional point of view, right? From maybe a physical point of view, really just to allow the idea that you're powerful enough for this kind of radical kindness. You're powerful enough for this sort of gentle work. And so allowing that to be the way that you focus and approach, be kind with your neck. So I like to do this starting with hips on heels. You can do this variation where you interweave your fingers and bring them to the back of the nape of your head. So you're really going to support your head so that doesn't go too far back in space. Now the elbows going wide really depends on your shoulder blades again, right? They might stay a little forward or even in so that you can kind of lift up from underneath your head. You can keep your chin tall. Take an inhale, flare out your front ribs, and in your exhale, start to hang your head back into your hands. Keep spreading your elbows wide and up. It's almost like you're pulling up from behind your heart. Imagine the center of your breastbone going up. You can stick your tail out. You might squeeze your inner thighs together, see if that changes anything. Squeeze the floor of your pelvis up and your navel back. You can stay right like this, or you might start to slowly shorten through your quadriceps to draw yourself up. Press into the tops of your feet. Lean your heart back, tuck your tail. You might decide to widen your feet and your knees hips distance away from one another. Now, at this point, if it starts to all go into your lower back, you can switch, mindful with your neck, to hang your lower back out, or fingers out and wrists in. One of my favorites. Press your hips forward and hang your head back. If it's for you to reach your hands to your heels, do. You can always flow in and out of camel actions if they're not for you. Take a couple of rounds of breath to find a backward bend that is for you if this is not your practice. Remember, you can always hit pause. That's the advantage of the tool. Lead with the center of your heart as you inhale to draw yourself back up. And exhale to settle your hips to your heels for a moment. Hands on the thighs, palms up or down. I'm going to pull my dog Albert down off of this very tall bed. He seems to want to come down and hang out with us this last little bit of practice. Stay with me, buddy. All right. If you're sitting your hips on your heels, you might realize you need to be in child's pose or do something else. Normal to feel a little dizzy or nauseous coming out of the camel action. You might flip your palms up, drop your back teeth off one another, take a few breaths. Good. And if you closed your eyes over the next few breaths, start to reassert action, flutter your eyes open. Take your hips off to one side and bring your legs out in front, and we'll stretch the hips just a little bit before rolling down to rest. So start with Baddha Konasana, and the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. You're welcome to bring your heels close to your groin. If you feel a lot of pressure in the inner knees, sometimes this longer winged version will put more pressure on the hip fascia and be more effective and more useful perhaps. Take an inhale to lift your heart tall and exhale, fold forward. Hang your upper body down. Drop the weight of your head into your hands or onto a prop or into gravity. And also choose to let yourself round. Try not to lead with the back of your neck if you're trying to seek extension of your spine. And slowly roll yourself up. Right, option for the figure four, which is to cross your right ankle over your left. You might look at it and see there's a little square here. It's sometimes also called square pose between like your toes. If you were to make a line, you can see kind of the box with flexed ankles. You're also welcome to take ankle to knee, and a lot of us will put padding underneath the knee, some tenderness in the outer IT band of the top leg. I'm going to suggest that you might also take the cow face pose, stacking your knees one on top of the other. So lots of options. And always use to sit up on the edge of a block or books if it feels a lot in the hips. But really for postures like this, we're externally rotating but adducting. So bringing the legs in, but turning the thigh bones out. You can also do this version with the bottom leg out long. And then take an inhale to lift your heart up. And on the exhale, twist. So we often fold, but first we're going to twist to the left. I know that's a little bit unusual. And you might use your right arm against your inner left knee, gaze back over your shoulder and rotate. Good, and return forward, take an inhale. On the exhale, twist to the right. Now, as you twist to the right, you might even start to sort of reach your left arm out as you hook it over your knee and start to fold. You can do that action of turning to twist like you did inside of your Utkatasana, your revolved chair, if you'd like to. Some bodies it feels really good, other people's not so much. Maybe you hook the elbow over the knee. And also choose to be folded down, facing square over your legs, hanging your upper body. Find your variation. We'll take about 3 more long, slow rounds of breath. Good. Unwind to center, unwind your legs and let them come out long. You can kind of shake them in and out. Just a little bit momentary boat pose action. I like to grab my kneecaps and kind of lean back. These actions of boat pose, we want to find probably a little bit of tuck will happen, but a little lift in your chest so you're not rounded unless you prefer this version for some reason. Usually this targets our muscles in the belly a little bit more. So you can have your shins parallel, your toes on the ground. You might choose to have your legs coming straight with your arms out or up. Lift your heart up and breathe for 5 breaths. Now, for me, I like to add little movements. Feel free to get creative because it distracts me from the difficulty of the action. Feel free to create. If you don't want to be distracted, you might stay with what is difficult. Pay attention to what gentleness is available, even in the face of what seems like it requires reaction. And exhale. Release the feet down. We'll do the other side of that hip flexor action. So if you crossed your right leg on top, cross your left leg on top this time. Maybe square pose, crossing just the ankles, maybe even patting the knees. Do Baddha Konasana again, always if you'd like a 4th or 5th option, cross the ankle over the knee. Move to a form of cow face. Whatever form you're in, let's twist to the right first. So you can reach your right arm in the inside of your right leg and take your right hand behind you. Inhale to stretch up and exhale to revolve. Gaze back over your shoulder and breathe. And then unwind forward, take an inhale. And on your exhale, twist over to the left. And this time you might start to reach your right arm more forward and start to fold. You might press your hands together to revolve. This twisted version needs to be higher up for you. You want to fold without any twisting. Feel free to do so. Take a few more rounds of breath, about 4 or 5. Good, and unwind slowly back to center and unwind your legs and shake them out. I'm going to do one more round of boat pose, a little bit of eagle arm action. So choose your leg shape. You might even choose to lean against something behind you, support yourself. Remember, every point of work is valid, right? No effort is wasted, as it were, towards the action of your enlightenment. Stress is wasted, though. Take an inhale to reach your arms out, and on your exhale, wrap your right elbow over your left. Now here, you might find pulling your elbows down to be interesting and your legs closer. You might find that you can lift your elbows up, your heart up as you drop your shoulder blades down or wide. It's also interesting, just a few more breaths in this shape, to twist from side to side and see how your elbows leading the way and stretch your shoulders. Good. As you're ready, inhale, unwind your arms. And exhale to wrap your left elbow under your right, so opposite side as last time. And again, you might choose a different leg shape as you breathe. You might lift your elbows up. You might choose to try twisting from side to side. The torture is almost over. Good, and exhale, slowly release your feet down. Take your legs straight out long in front of you. And you can reach for your feet or reach for the sky. And inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Always option to bend your knees. Always useful to take the flesh out from underneath you. You can round and hang your head. This doesn't have to be a particularly long spine action. Flexion happens in your pelvis for the most part. And you might even choose to be passive in the legs, letting things hang. If you're active, press through the balls of your feet, inside edges of heels, as well as outside edges. If you're pulling yourself forward and down, try to draw your shoulders into your back so you can take your whole rib cage with you. In the next few rounds of breath, begin to press your pelvis down into the ground and round yourself up. When you get to the top of your seat, keep on tucking, round all the way down onto your back body. Once you're all the way down on your back, you can bend your knees and point the soles of your feet down on the earth. You can drop your knees from side to side, do some loose twisting. From here, you might discern that it would feel good in your back to gather your knees to your chest, take your feet wide. Some of you might come up and over into plow posture, any other pose that serves you. We're starting to wiggle and wind down towards resting. So if you know you need to pause and do some finishing postures, maybe there's some wheels, some back bending, some Urdhva Dhanurasana. Maybe for you, you need to hang in a twist or a few yin postures for a few more breaths. Do it. Maybe you know that there's nothing left to do and it's time to head to rest right away, but you know you're going to be there probably longer than I'm going to cue it, and then you might turn off the video then too. Otherwise, the next 10, 15 rounds of breath on that timeline, head towards a resting shape that makes sense for you. You could rest on your back in Shavasana, that's sort of classic, arms out, palms up, legs wide, toes flapping out. You might lay on your side though, especially if your lower back feels tender, on your belly, one ear on the mat or forehead on the hands. You could also go over to a bed or a cozy chair if you're in a space like that at home that you could lie down in. Any position that you feel like you could integrate and rest in for a few minutes. You could take legs up the wall or hang your legs over a cushion or the seat of a chair. You're always welcome to choose a meditation seat instead. For a few minutes, we'll rest in this way. I'll call you up and out with chanting and instruction when it's time to move on. Right, otherwise, you're always welcome to rest as long as you'd like to. Integration is often easy to skip over because it doesn't seem like we're doing anything. Again, as we think about karma as something we're interacting with, we don't create reality, we interact with it. And our gentleness allows us to sort of move in between the molecules of the current to find collaboration and keep everything powerful, the elements around us, our collaborators, ourselves. Gentleness and kindness is the offering. Can you be courageous enough to be kind, even when you are in confusion or difficulty, even when you are growing, even when you are weeding out the past from the present? And we'll call you up and out when it's time to change. Until then, with gentleness, with kindness, pay attention to how things really are. Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasi Navaditamastu Mavit Vashavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Very slowly, as if from a great distance, begin to return your awareness to your breath and your body. Slowly ask your breath to gently rise towards your awareness, deepening it over time. If you know you need to rest and remain as you are, do as long as you'd like to. Otherwise, slowly returning towards waking life by integrating intuitive movement, wiggle fingers and toes, run your tongue over your teeth, scrunch and spread your face. You can stretch out or up like you're rising from a nap. In the next 5 or 6 rounds of breath, roll to one side. You might gather your knees into your chest, your arms in. And as you find this curled up position, take a moment to practice gratitude for your kindness and for all of the many kindnesses back all the way, history of human past, species past, earth past, ecosystem past, cosmic past, all the way back to the beginning of all things, and maybe towards the intention of kindnesses that will occur in the future. You might consider gratitude for your own willingness to be gentle as a form of active kindness. And when you're ready, use your top hand to press yourself up towards a seat, and we'll seal in practice together. As you slowly transition, that's a traditional chant in the lineage, Krishmanacharya, but really a lot of lineages hold it. Text is from the Vedic tradition. It means it's about our work together, teacher-student, together as a community, together with our many selves. It means, may we together uh, may we together know kindness. May we together know joy. May our work together for the goodness of all be brilliant. May our community not hate, fight, or dispute with one another. May our work seek to always lead us towards the cultivation, understanding, intentionality of universal kindness, awareness of cosmic peace. Thank you for letting me be a part of your practice. If you need anything, reach out to me. These classes are all donation based. You can donate to me at Venmo, at Practice School of Magic. You can donate to me at Cash App, at Alyssa Backbends. Hey y'all, just gotta finish off this video. I got cut off a little bit early telling you how to donate. Just want to make sure I always want to tell you that the offering is freely given. And so if you can't donate, please, 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 you deserve access to this work. You deserve access to this resource. So please feel free to use it, and please spread the word. Let other people know. All the videos are posted on aliciakleyyoga.com/videos. It's under a videos tab, yoga videos. Or you can go to the Practice School of Magic YouTube channel, and I'll always be updating. This week, I think I'm going to post 3 classes total this week. So if you're looking for things, keep looking for them. And if you need me for anything, feel free to reach out, aliciakley@gmail.com, or any of those social media platforms. I'm limited in my internet connection, so it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you, but I'm here for you, and know that I'm sending you good things. I'm sending you good vibes. I'm sending you love and good intention, and I mean that from a great distance, even though we can't share space or time in the same way anymore. That I'm glad you're practicing, and I appreciate you, and I'm grateful to be a part of your practice. So thank you for that, and I hope you have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.